you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a very exciting video, and it's going to be my July wrap up as well as my August TBR. So I didn't read that many books in July, but I do have a lot to say about the books that I did read. So I'm going to go into that, and then right after I'll give you the books that I plan to read in August. So I'm going to start with this book. I didn't technically start it in July, I started it in June, but I did finish reading it in July, and that is Credence. I heard so many things about this on TikTok, and I kind of went into it a little bit blind. I didn't know what this was about at all, but I gave this, I think, a 3.75 on my Goodreads. I can see why people have mixed reviews about this, but I gave it a 3.75 because I feel like the actual story was pretty good, and I don't think a lot of people talk about that. They kind of overlook that with the other things that happened in this book. The storyline was good. I really liked how descriptive the environment was. Like, it was a very cool place to like go to in a book. Like, it was very snowy, it was like in the mountains. I honestly can't remember like exactly where it is. I forget the town. Anyway, but it was honestly, like, I obviously finished this book. It's a pretty long book. It did take me a little bit to get through it, but I will say I enjoyed reading it to a certain extent. I know a lot of people either love it or they hate it. I was kind of in the middle about it, so I gave it like a 3.75. Thinking about it now, maybe I'd give it a little bit of a lower score, which, like I said, people either love it 5 stars or they hate it. So I think I'm like right in the middle because it teeters some lines, and I think I would give it a lower score now because I realize that I hate the ending even more than I felt when I first read it. I really hated the ending. I don't think that there could have been a worse ending to this book than what was in this book. So I'd probably give it a lower rating than I initially gave it, but I think it was a pretty good read. Finished it in July and didn't really know where to go from here. I think I needed something cute and YA and something just not this. So that leads me into the second book that I read in July, which was Love in Other Words, and I have a lot to say about this book because I think I also gave this a 3.75, which is like, in comparison to the two, like, I honestly feel terrible about giving this a 3.75, but I hated the ending. I don't know, maybe I'm just like super picky about the endings of books that I read, I guess. I loved every second of this book leading up to like the resolution, or why you find out that they had stopped talking. So this book is about Macy and Elliot. They were childhood friends to lovers. Such a cute little trope. Like I said, 3.75. Would I recommend it? Of course. I actually bought this for one of my friend's birthdays for her to read. Would I recommend it? 100%. Would I give it a 5-star? Probably not. If it had a different ending, I think I definitely would, because I ate this book up. I think I read it in like 2 days or something, but I ate this up. Hated the ending though, and I guess that's like a trend, I don't know. So I read this next book because I heard it was just so sad, and I just think I needed a good cry. I needed something different than those 2 books that I read. So I've heard so many things about this book. This is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. I don't know what I rated it on Goodreads, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, but it was really different. I think the writing was very interesting to read. It definitely kept me like intrigued a lot of the time. I will say I wish at the end of the book, like the last couple chapters that I just read it all the way through. A lot of people say that the ending of this book really gets them in their feels. I've seen so many people on TikTok and YouTube like read this book and absolutely like wet face sobbing with tears, and that just didn't happen for me, which I think is 100% my fault, because when I read probably the saddest part of this book, I had like stopped reading it like right before the sad part, or like they explain exactly what happened, because you find out what the really sad part of this book is in like the first couple chapters, or the first couple pages honestly, but it goes over like why it just hits you. It like talks about it more in depth in those last chapters. And the thing was, like, I was so involved in the story, but I put it down to go to bed and then picked up the next morning, and I just wasn't as like, how would I say it? I just wasn't as in the story at the time because I had put it down. I feel like if I had read it through, like all the pages, all those last chapters all at once, I would have 100% wet face, completely sobbing, screaming, crying. But that sadly didn't happen for me because I had put it down. So I highly recommend, if you want it to hit you in all of the feels, to not put it down. Like, I would say the last like 10 chapters, maybe 5. You just really want to be in the mindset of the characters with them when everything goes down at the end of this book. That's just my personal opinion. If you really want it to hit you the way that it has for a lot of people. Again, don't remember when I gave this on Goodreads. Thinking about it right now, I would probably give it a 4-star. Just because it was just so different and the writing was so unique, and I just didn't want to put it down. So I think this was probably one of my favorite reads of this month. This and this one. 90% of this book I loved. Absolutely loved. If it had ended differently, this would have been my favorite book of this month, probably of the year. Loved it so much, but just because the way that this book just like made me ache and like feel so many things, even if I didn't cry at the end, I feel like it's definitely one of my favorite reads of July. So the next book that I went into was The Way I Used to Be. I ended up DNFing this book, and not because it was a bad book, but I feel like picking this up right after this one, it just had a very similar not writing style, but I got the same kind of feeling reading this that I did with that. It was a very unique kind of I honestly don't know how to explain it, but it just gave me very similar vibes to this book, and I just wanted something a little different. But I did want a book to really make me cry, so I tried to read this book, and I only DNF'd it because it was so similar to the book I just finished reading. So I'm definitely going to pick this back up, just not anytime soon. I think I got maybe like 20 pages in and extremely sad already, but I think I'm going to wait to pick this back up. So I didn't finish this one, but I thought I would just include it because I did start it, and if you're looking for a sad book, I definitely think this would be a book to make you cry. I just didn't finish it. Definitely will sometime soon, but if you do try and pick this up or want to read this, I definitely recommend looking up the trigger warnings for this before you pick it up. So I'm just going to put this back on my shelf because it needs to be read sometime soon, just not in my August TBR. Okay, and the last book that I read in July was actually on my Kindle, and it was my first Frida McFadden book, which I was really excited for, and I read the book Never Lie. I still haven't put this on my Goodreads. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it. I felt like her writing keeps you on your toes 110%. I could not and did not want to put that book down, but I feel like it just fell a little flat for me, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I felt a little cheated because in the beginning of this book, the way that she wrote it was in first person. You're in the main character's head, so you know what the character is feeling and talking about, and it just didn't really make a lot of sense at the end. Like I said, I don't really want to give a lot away as to like what happens in the book, but essentially her and her fiance, I think it is, go to look at this house that's like really deep in the woods, and they end up getting snowed in and they have to stay there. So they start uncovering some things that the previous owner, who was a psychiatrist, had in the house that was like kind of creepy things start happening. A lot of plot twists happen in this book. While I enjoyed it, I feel like it fell a little flat for me. I don't know if it's because maybe people hype up Frida McFadden's books like crazy. I'm gonna admit, I loved the writing. Did I enjoy the way it ended and how things played out? Probably not as much as I thought I would, but I really liked it. I read it in like a day and a half maybe, and I read it on my Kindle, so it was probably that much faster because I read it on my Kindle. So those were all the books that I read in July. I think I only read like 3.5. Yeah, like 3, 1, 2, 3, like 4 books in total, like half of Credence and then some of The Way I Used to Be. But I did want to show you guys my Kindle. I don't think I've showed you guys what it looks like. So I have the Kindle Paperwhite, and then I just have some really fun Harry Potter stickers on here. I have Honeydukes, the Elder Wand, the Golden Snitch, Hogwarts, Ron's R sweater, the like luck potion, Felix Felis, I think that's what it's called. It says it on there. And then just like a stack of books with like a little Apologies potion on the side. I just thought it was really cute, really simple, to just decorate my Kindle. So now for all my books for my August TBR, which I'm so excited about. I already started reading this. I cheated a little. I started in July because I wanted to start reading it for my birthday, and I have Magnolia Parks for the first book of my August TBR, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm 35 pages in and I'm obsessed. I love Jessa Hastings' writing. I don't think I've read a book like this. I feel like I'm there. I feel like she's in my head. Jessa Hastings is in my head, and that's exactly how I would write a book. It's just so amazing. I love her writing, and I'm very nervous to read this book because I feel like I'm gonna love it so much and be instantly in a book slump after I read this. But if it's one thing, I already love this book, and I'm so excited to finish reading it. I don't want to finish reading it, honestly, because I'm scared that I'm gonna love it so much and I'm just gonna want more. But I'm also super excited, and I wanted to start it on my birthday, and I'm so glad that I did, and I'm loving it already so far. So that's the first on my August TBR. Second book in my August TBR is The Hawthorne Legacy. I don't know how long ago at this point I've read the Inheritance games, but it's been a long time, and I really think I just want to get through some series because I have so many, and the fact that I haven't started a lot of them, I don't know. I talked about this a lot in like my last video, but I really feel like it's time for me to get over my like fear of not accomplishing reading an entire series, because if I just pick them up, I'll probably finish them. So I really love the Inheritance games, so I figured I would pick this up for the month of August and see if I can just get through it. Because I really enjoyed the Inheritance game, so I don't see why I wouldn't love the Hawthorne Legacy. So that's number 2 on my TBR. Honestly, don't have a lot on my TBR for August, but I thought I would show you guys anyway because I wanted to keep it pretty realistic, and I feel like 5 books for me is like more than enough. So those were the first 2, and the third one, because I am just loving this vibe right now, is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. My dog is saying hi. And I absolutely love this cover art. I am obsessed with it. Hi. And I'm just obsessed with the cover art. I'm gonna show you what this looks like right now. Look, baby. Hi. She's so funny. I can't wait for you guys to see this right now. She's just so cute. Okay, come here, baby. Sit. Good girl. Okay, so Luna wanted to join me for the rest of this video. So I just wanted to read this book this month because I'm just very much feeling these like country, like small town vibes. So I just thought I would pick this one up as well. And like, I cannot get over this cover. It's just amazing, and I haven't read one of her books before. I'm not too familiar with the author, but I've heard so many good things about this book, so put this on my August TBR because I'm just loving these vibes right now for summer. And last but not least, I have Flawless on my August TBR. I'm just super excited to read this series, really. And one of you guys commented on my last video that this was the first book of the series, so thank you for doing that. Now I know which one to start off with, and I'm going to be starting off with Flawless. And again, I feel like these are just very similar vibes, very country, small town, and I'm loving that whole aesthetic right now and vibe. So that's everything on my August TBR. Actually, I'm keeping it very short, and hopefully I get to all of these books, or hopefully read these instead of any of my other books, because sometimes I feel like I'm a mood reader, and if I'm not in the mood for any of these, I might just pick something else off my shelf. But these are the books that I do intend to read for August, and I'm very excited. I know I'm probably gonna love all of these, so I'm very excited to pick them up for August to read. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below what are some books that you plan to read for August, and if these are actually on any of your August TBR. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to film my August wrap up and give you all my opinions on the books, and if I end up reading all of these, or maybe even more, or probably less, I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. Hi. She's so funny. I can't wait for you guys to see this right now. She's just so cute.